As a little disclaimer, I just got the new Mavic Air 2. That wasn't the Mavic Air 2. If you guys like bought the Mavic Air 2, you're like, why did yours come in the bag? This is the Fly More combo. All right, so I'm gonna be talking about how to optimize your drone to get crazy shots that look like this. Now, first off, this is not some FPV crazy technique or hacks that you do within the camera. There's a lot of it is in post-production on how to get these crazy moves out of your camera. But I'll also share with you some effects that you guys can do practically in order to get some really epic shots. So the first thing that we're going to explore and break into is how to get that cool rotation shot that you guys saw at the beginning of this video. So first off, what you have to do is when you're filming with your drone is to make sure that you shot the clip in 4K or higher. Now if you shoot it in 1080, which I've done multiple times, it still looks good, it still works, it's still really awesome. The only downfall or pitfall of this whole thing is the fact that you're not going to get that high res look, or at least like that standard look if you punch in, because we're gonna have to do some scaling in. Okay, so what you're gonna do is take your shot into your editing software of choice, mine being Premiere Pro, but you don't have to do it in Premiere Pro. You can do it in any sort of non-linear editing software. Make sure your drone clip is to the dimensions of the project file, so you may have to press scale to fit frame size. Once you have your shot into your timeline, the first thing to do is go to make your parameters, your in and out points where you want them to be. So start with the shot of the drone super far into your subject and then it pulling away. Now, if you put it in reverse, it can be in reverse, so it pushes in, doesn't really matter. Just start the clip where you want it to be started. Now, the beginning of your clip is where you're gonna have said rotation. So rotate it to the angle that you want it to be. So for example, we're gonna rotate our drone about this much. And now once it's set to that parameter, we're gonna hit a keyframe marker. But now you're like, Zach, whoa, I see all these black frames. That's all good. Scale in that until you eliminate the black frames on the top and bottom or right and left of the frame or in the corners. Once you've scaled in the shot, fast forward a few seconds into the clip and go into this little reset arrow button, and that's going to create a new keyframe marker where your shot will be straight and it will be scaled into the proper dimensions. Once you've set the parameters back, you're gonna have 2 additional keyframe markers, and if we play back the clip, it's going to do the rotation. Now, here's where you do some tweaking and finessing. Personally, this happens too quick, so what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna take these keyframe markers by highlighting the 2 of them and dragging them out to a little bit later in the timeline. Therefore, whenever I press play again, the rotation happens a little bit later. Now, depending on where you put these 2 keyframe markers will depend on how fast or how slow this sort of animation happens. Personally, I like it when it happens nice and slow, but it's gonna change per clip. Make sure that that rotation matches with your scale. And if there are any points where the scale or rotation sort of mess up, where you start to see a little bit of black framing, you can just adjust the rotation at the beginning, making it a little less drastic, or scaling your clip just a little bit further so that that doesn't happen by adjusting the scale at the very beginning on your first keyframe marker. And there you have it. Now you have that rotating effect, and you can copy and paste this by using paste attributes into a bunch of other clips. So you can do a cool rotating timeline. You can change the rotation another way. You don't have to be so drastic. You could even do a full 360. Just remember, the more the rotation you do, the greater the scale is gonna be, the lower your resolution is gonna break down later on within the shot. Now, finally, for those of you who are like, well, I came here for some practical effects, practical crazy drone shots. So some of the effects that I like to do with my drone that create a really dynamic shot, at the end of the day, DJI doesn't allow for you to do really wicked, crazy shots. It's not an FPV style drone, so you do have limitations when it comes to your horizontal axes and doing those swivels. But that being said, you can still do some pretty neat stuff. Like one shot that I captured the other day of my friend on a dirt bike, I was pulling the camera back, lifting the drone up, tilting the camera down, and pivoting the drone. So you're literally hitting 4 controls at once for that motion in operation to happen, for that to play out. So if you guys are interested in doing like some cool manual controls and like really start to play around with that aspect, I would just recommend have a wide open space. Make sure that you're not gonna bump into anything and maneuver that shot around. Personally, I love doing these types of shots. I find it really fun. Just remember that there's a time and a place for them. Sometimes you get overly obsessed with doing like multi-trigger shots. And at the end of the day, they don't live within every single part of your timeline as much as like static drone shots or slow moves do. So that's it. That's all, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in and taking a look at this video. For those of you who want to look at more of the stuff that I'm creating, if you're interested, was this on an angle the whole time? For those of you who are interested in wanting to take a gander at all the other stuff that I create, you can take a look at my YouTube page. There's a ton of other content there. You can hit the subscribe button if you want to keep watching this, or you can hit the bell, and that would be also really cool. Finally, this video is sponsored and brought to you in part by PremiumBeat.com. PremiumBeat is a royalty-free stock music website for all of your creative needs. There's a wide range of amazing tunes and tracks that I've been using for over 2 years now in my videos. And I just love the selection there because the music is very high quality and very unique. So if you guys are interested in the tracks that I have included in this video, you can check out PremiumBeat.com in the description below. Let me know if you really like these drone videos. If you want me to keep talking about them, I'll figure out more stuff. I'm actually thinking about getting into like doing FPV drone flying. That might be a thing. I think that'll be a thing. Maybe, let me know. It's funny enough, I was walking in my neighborhood the other day and I bumped into a guy who did FPV drone flying. And it was really cool. Whoa, that is so cool!